Attention viewers of the Matchup Preview Parlor. Tonight's Matchup Preview Show will be shot to you on location from the Mile High Club on the way to the Mile High City. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, Thrills Alexander, here tonight, bringing you our Matchup Preview Show for the week 13 already? 13? 5 and 7. Yeah, 5 plus 7 is 12, which means we've played 12 matchups already this year. We're on to one more this week. Now, as you can see, I am on location in a Southwest Boeing 737 flying to Denver, so I will be on a direct line today with a mouthpiece microphone set. As you stare at my face, you will see me holding the microphone rather close to my mouth to ensure quality audibleness for your ear holes. All right, so no music this week, no takeaways, no cutaways, none of that bullshit theatricals. It's me and my face giving you the previews and the facts, which, sad to say, means it'll probably be an abbreviated show tonight. No 20 minutes of me talking baseball, probably going 10, maybe 12. Who knows? We're already 1.5 deep. B Green, you know what I'm talking about. 1.5 deep. Ow! Anyways, I do not have any stats from last week's matchups. I can only presume that I went 6-0 in predicting them, nailed the 5 victors and even the 1 tie. So what can I say? I'm feeling pretty good about that. Looking back, I actually think I did predict a tie. No, I did predict a tie, but not between who it should be. But we're going to forget all about that. We're just going to say, hey, Thrills was 6-0. Mighty fine job. A really big show. Anyways, we got 6 fantastic matchups. 6 with something incredible on the line in each matchup. I don't know if anybody else has taken an opportunity to dive into these matchups this week, but from what I can tell, everything is really laid out for this week to be one of the most pivotal weeks of the baseball season. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start off with our first matchup preview, looking at Rocky in Russia versus Krusty's third nipple. Now, Rocky in Russia, weeks ago, maybe a month, you were being hassled, hounded, ridiculed by the commission about how shitty your team was. And look what I see now. I see Code Nobeson at 500, right in the thick of the playoff race right now. Going up against Krusty's third nipple, who is in first place for now. Because right now, this matchup is for first place in their division. Now, that might seem like nothing, but Krusty's third nipple had a 3-game lead merely 3 weeks ago, and 2 weeks later, it is down to just 1 game. So, a lot of stuff riding on this. Krusty's third nipple has really been bitten hard last week by offenses just going bananas. Cody's offense was one of those that happened to go bananas last week against going against Billy Baseball right now. People are not fastening their seatbelts on the plane right now. We are going to be experiencing some turbulence. People are not following the protocol of the pilot's commands and keeping their seats. I am belted. I'm also breaking protocol right now. I was having my tabletop down. My tray table is down on my lap right now as I take my notes. So let's hope they don't bust me for that. Let's hope they also don't interrupt asking for my drink choice in the middle of this preview video. I'm going to have to pause and tell them I want a Coca-Cola and some peanuts stat. But anyways, going back to our matchup, Krusty's third's really been snake-bitten recently, thinking he was a cock-strong team, and overall what we've seen is a team that's just more smoke and mirrors than anything else. A team that we know if they were to get to the playoffs, they would easily be defeated. And hopefully we don't have to get that far this year, because I don't think there's any way that Krusty's third's even going to make the playoffs. Now, he's claimed in our one-on-one meetings at the golf course, West Pines Country Club, Deville, Augusta, Douglasville, Augusta, that he's the Rodney Dangerfield. He gets no respect from anyone in this league, not from Ben, not from the matchup prediction, not from Diddley Poo. And I went back and I looked and I was right, he isn't getting any respect. He is a 4th place team. So I give him 4th place worth of credit here. Big Green, good job. You have maintained first place for a large portion of the year, rather, in this division. But it matters not now, because Rocky in Russia is going to continue pummeling the baseball and pummeling his fist into your rectum in this matchup. So Rocky in Russia, you'll be picking up the dub this week. Kudos to you. Now, let's move on to another matchup that has first place on the line. This matchup we're talking about now, we're looking at Red Roosters versus Mr. Tickles. Not only is this another first place matchup preview, but this is also the year of matchup. Is it the year of the Sav or is it the year of the Stash? This matchup's going to help determine it. A Tickles victory puts him in first place, gives him the title of the year of, and puts him in first place. As I've said all year long, it's the year of the Stash. Even with his best offensive player going down last week in Adalberto Mondesi, I've seen no slowing down in the Jaycock. Granted, a loss to Homer Depot last week will kind of look like a slowdown, but not enough in that division to really put him out of any sort of race. Savdog has not ran away with it, and in this time, I really think it's time for the Jaycock. Now, having said all that, the man's trying to wheel and deal. He's trying to bump Chris Davis, trying to get rid of Zach Wheeler. So if you guys look for any of those, that's the man you want to see. Red Russo, on the hand, he's not looking to wheel and deal-ish. He's looking to maintain his stronghold in his division lead, right in his trifecta of Scherzer and Verlander and DeGrom, all who've looked studly this past month, and an offense that's slowly coming together, piece by piece, doing just enough to not embarrass himself in his weekly matchups. Will that continue this week? Not in this rider's eyes, because for what I see a Red Rooster loss. I see a Jaycock win. Jaycock going to 7-5-1. Red Rooster's going to 6-5-2, and Jaycock taking a firm 1.5 game lead in that division. Jaycock, keep up the good work. As I say week after week, it's the year of the Stash, baby. It's the year of the Stash. All right, moving on to our next matchup here. I'm going to call this the Loser Leaves Town matchup. And I'm going looking at Wonderbat and Hager. Two teams that are sitting at 5-7. Two men that have gone to battle against each other year after year, matchup after matchup. Grueling, grudging. Wonderbat looking for a little retribution from the earlier season tremendous beatdown that was laid upon him by Mike Hager, previously known as another name at that point in time in the year. But Hager has fallen on hard times recently. A loser of 4 or 5 in a row, out of 6 rather. Not in a row. He did pick up a dub in there. Got to give him credit where credit's due. Well, this really Loser Leaves Town. The loser going to 5-8, knowing that 9 losses is probably going to eliminate you from playoff contention, really worries me. I want to go against Wonderbat here, but everything inside of me says Wonderbat can't lose again to Mike Hager. Mike Hager's been playing bad, but as of this speaking, Mike Hager's 5 for 10 with a couple ding-dongs against Wonderbat. But Wonderbat will not be deterred. He's picking up a dub this week, going against Mike Hager, the Horrible. If anybody's ever seen that comic, it is a tremendous comic in thy eyes. All right. Pause. We got a moment for a pause. And we're back as the lovely stewardess comes around to take a complimentary drink and snack orders. I did indeed order a Coca-Cola beverage with a side of nuts. Peanuts, that is. Oh, peanuts. But anyways, as I recapped in our last speaking before we were rudely interrupted, or politely interrupted, shall I say, Wonderbat will pick up the dub over Mike Hager in the Loser Leaves Town matchup. Commish, you need to go ahead and pack your bags and get ready to hit the old dust trail, because this season ain't happening for you. I'm ending it now. Calling it my shot. Might as well call me the Great Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, as they said in the Sandlot. So, Hager with a loss, Wonderbat with a dub. Next matchup here. Sorry about that, boys. Had to move my napkin they placed in front of me to maintain the liquidness condensation of my beverage. All right, so we've had 3 matchups thus far. Now we're going to look at one matchup that actually matters for naught. There's nothing on the line in this matchup. We're talking about Evil Morty versus All Aboard. Now, Anthony, I love what you're doing week in, week out, changing your name to go against the team you are playing. Love it. The Wonderbat gif you threw on with the gif you threw on Wonderbat last week with Roger Clemens breaking the bat, just blitzing it, was pure gold. I know it came against me, but damn, that made me chuckle wholeheartedly. Oh my, that was good, man. That was real good. But this week, going against Evil Morty, nothing's online. No first place, no Loser Leaves Town. The only thing we would like to see here is maybe somebody slow down Evil Morty, give him another loss. He's 2 losses up on the next closest team to him, so we can't really let him run away with the regular season title this early. Although, if anybody needs money, I got no problem giving D-Harp some regular season champ cash. All right, but this week, it won't matter. Evil Morty's going to do what Evil Morty does. He's going to hit 320, OPS of about 1,000, 130 total bases, 18 dingers with an ERA of 17.3. Not going to matter. All aboard can't keep up, even with Gallo, even with Springer, even with anybody else that ripped Madinkle last week. It's not going to matter. Josh Bell can reincarnate himself. Freddie Freedog, Javi Baez, all of those. Any of them. Don't matter. They ain't matter. You are going down this week. All aboard the losing train. Choo-choo. All right. 4 matchups down, 2 to go. Now, we're going to go to the matchup of the whole train. It's time for everybody to hop aboard that matchup as we got the No Homers Club at 4-6-2, going to Homer Depot at 2-10. Now, Homer Depot, kudos to you, my man, picking up another dub, 2nd dub of the year. Last week, I was so impressed with you, man. You really did some work. I thought Jay Cock was going to come back and pull out the dub, but needless to say, he could not break through that cock-strong, dingle-strong self that we call Austin Snead up in Canada. You built that border wall at the spot that we didn't expect it, right around yourself in Canada, because there was no penetrating that for Mr. Chickles this week. But seeing as how Austin's won twice in 12 games this year, 12 matchups, that's a 1 out of 6, or some might say a 16.7% winning percentage. I'm going to stay to the averages here and say that Homer Depot does not pick up a dub this week, and instead picks up a tie. Billy Baseball has seemed to be the king of ties. If he's not getting beat recently, he is getting ties. We had a loss last week. Let's call it a tie this week, as we cheer wholeheartedly against your Chicago Cubs today and the next day and possibly Wednesday. I'm not sure how the schedule breaks out against the Braves. We won nothing but Bryant strikeouts, Baez pop-ups, and Riz Dog dingers of the solo. And I'll take 2 and 3 run dingers as long as the Braves are winning like 5-4. Oh, excuse me, as long as they win 5-4. Hit as many dingers as you want, Riz Dog. This week, though, no host club. You're going to pick up a tie against Homer Depot in a matchup where you're going to be starting strong, thinking you got something going, only to have Austin Snead pull out some magic mushrooms and build himself a victory dam out of the Home Depot toys that he found. So I'm calling it right now. We got a tie between Homer Depot and the No Host Club. Ow, ow, ho, train. And our last matchup, I'm going to call this the matchup of the week. We've got Behan going into the Topes. Battle of first place in that division. We just harped on in the Bedell writings how Behan has been the best team in the league thus far. But if the season started about 3 weeks later, you might be saying that about the Springfield Isotopes, as they have risen to 7-5 and have firmly solidified a spot in playoff contention. Everything that Springfield Topes right now is turning into gold. The man is one of the few players in the league that could actually compose a solid, ridiculously good outfield between the players that he has and still have pieces left over. Most of us are scrambling for guys that are playing 4 or 5 times a week and batting about 260 to 270. He's got 6 of those ready to just throw out there at a moment's notice. Behan on the time. I noticed what you're doing here, going with the young guns. I don't think you have a single starting pitcher on your team over the age of 25 that doesn't throw under 99. Everybody you pick up. Going with the old Oakland Athletics young guns. Going with Thor. Going with Castillo. Paddock's back in the majors. What's he going to do? Everything you touch is doing great, and I fucking hate it. Hate you. Hate you picking up dubs. Hate you using analytics. Everything. Barrel percentage, swing strike percentage, everything. You're using all. CSWs. I know it. I follow. I'm trying to keep up with you. Don't worry. I ain't going nowhere. But you're going somewhere this week, and that's to the losers bracket, because I don't see anybody right now better than the Springfield Topes, aside from Evil Morty. So Springfield Topes, you're going to pick up the dub this week. Your team is stacked. Your offense is great. You're pitching well. Glasnow just got some more bad news, but that shouldn't matter to you. You've got enough to deal with right now that might maybe trade an outfielder for a starting pitcher and just take a strength and make your team even stronger. That'd be my suggestion, but what do I know? Anyways, all I know is we got 6 winners this week. They're looking at Wonderbat, Jay Cocky, or the Stash, Evil Morty, Springfield Topes, a tie in the No Host Club, and Rocky in Russia. So we've got a couple division leaders that'll be changing when we see my face again Monday. But as of now, I'm going to leave you from the Mile High Club. Oh, getting a little turbulence right now. Don't really care for that much, not going to lie. Seatbelt sign is still on right now, and Thrills is still out. So, from 38,000 feet high in the sky, I'm going to tell you bye-bye. See you next week.